Myself, just uh, getting ready to just want to get your thoughts and point of views, on why'd you get started and wanting to be a part of Mexica movement and protesting, and what made you want to be a part of this, and what continues to motivate you, and what you would like to see change in the Mexican Chicano community and culture. But so we got Naui Osoleto. Can you say that for me?
Naui Ocelot.
Also, okay. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys should know who Naui is out there. He's one of the biggest Mexican protester YouTube channels, I believe, out there that I could find. And so, Naui, would you be able to just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm Naui Ocelot, 39 years old. I'm from Orange County, and I've been an activist since 1994. 1994 because we were fighting against Proposition 187, and and I've been active in the community. I work with the Mexica movement. Olintis Calipoca is the person that woke me up to my history and identity.
Okay.
I identify as indigenous. I reject the labels Hispanic and Latino, and my activism relates to indigenous identity and liberation and to fight white supremacy.
Okay. And so when was it, how old were you when you came about the Mexica movement, when Olin made you aware of this?
Well, even before I met him, I got influenced. There was a band called Brujeria that I used to listen to, and they had the poster that said Mexican, not Latino, not Hispanic, but in Spanish on their albums.
Yeah.
So I thought Brujeria were the creators of it, but then like a year later, I found the Mexica movement at a powwow.
Okay.
And they explained to me they were the ones who originated. That's when I met Rolene, and from there we built a relationship, and we've been working ever since.
Wow, wow. When was that? Like, cause you were young, weren't you? Like a teenager, I believe, when you came across this.
Yeah, I was like 18, and this happened in 1997.
Wow, that's a while. So, wow, 97 to 2017, so 20 years.
20 years. Wow, yeah.
Okay. That's pretty interesting. So when was it, what made you motivate to start making a YouTube channel, to want to go to these protests that you've been doing for 10 years since YouTube started?
Because one time they were filming me and they were making fun of me because I got mad and emotional because they stole my camera, and in the city of Bonnet Grove, it was one of their events. I was taking pictures of them. They snatched the camera off my hand, and the police didn't do nothing.
Okay.
So I got kicked out, and outside there was a bunch of media, and one of the members of the Minutemen or Save Our State, they started recording me, and then they did like crying sounds in the background, like.
Okay.
So okay, if they can do that, to me, I can do that to them, and then I started recording them ever since because I wanted to show what the media didn't show. The media that made them seem like they were just a civil group, citizens group. They were peaceful, but I wanted to show like what they really were, their racism and who they work with, and who's in the groups, like white supremacists, and even there was one that actually killed his whole family, including himself, including a baby.
Wow.
And there was, and a lot of Nazi groups have worked with the Minutemen, and
Okay.
well, they're like the same people. They're the Minutemen, and they're the Tea Party, and now they're Donald Trump supporters. It's the same old evil people.
Okay. And what is it? How long have you been in LA? I know you're originally from Jalisco, Mexico. And so like, how long? What was it like? What was I don't know. How young were you when you came out here, or like what kept you from being tied into the Chicano gangs in LA? Because I see a lot of like, or the young Mexicans that come over here, they get influenced by the Chicano gangs, and they lose their lives. We don't got a lot of organizations trying to tell our people, culturally and community, what's the right path that we should take, and so what kept you from falling into that?
Okay, well, actually, I'm not from LA, but I'm from Orange County.
Okay, my bad.
And my family's from Jalisco. I was born here, but I do represent it because my family's from there, and my
Okay.
the Nahuas from Jalisco. And I was born in Orange County, and
Oh,
I,
you're okay.
I did join a party crew that turned into a gang.
Okay,
But
okay.
I met the Mexica movement at the right time, or else I probably would have been in jail. Some of my friends are deported, some of my friends are dead, or ex-friends, or people. So yeah, so that got me. I met him at the perfect time. So if it wasn't for leading the Mexica movement, I don't know where I'd be right now.
Wow, wow. That's pretty interesting. Uh, what keeps you going and motivated to continue to want to be out there protesting and recording these events?
It because there's so much misinformation, and even with our own community, we don't know our true history, our true identity. When people think about like Mexicans, they don't think about we were once the most civilized, the most educated people in the world during that time before
Yeah,
1492. We were inventing stuff. We were the first people in the world to educate women, male, female,
mm,
all ages, and like this is stuff that's not being taught at school. And I see the vision for my people is for us to become that again. It's like when right now if you want to insult a Mexican
mm,
or somebody of Mexican thing, you call them an Indio.
mm,
Right now that's an insult.
okay.
But I want to get back to like we're proud of who we are, knowing who we are, and and part of that is confronting white supremacy because every day we're taught to hate ourselves and to look down on ourselves and to think that brown is ugly and white is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, that is interesting because I had a conversation with someone last week, and people don't realize that the light and brown thing does go in our culture too. It happens because I'm kind of dark skinned, and I had lighter Mexican friends of their families. They're like, yeah, my mom, when you come to the door, they say that Negro's here. I'm like, what? I didn't even think I was that dark. And, we're not aware that that's in our community too, the light skinned, dark skinned thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's definitely like in Mexico. You see why it's a problem. Like every time I go to Mexico, when you get off the plane, all the billboards, all the people, all the models that are in the billboards are all white.
Wow.
They're all they're all like European, 100%, or people have light skin, but they're mostly like European faces.
Yeah.
And whenever it's something negative, it's always like they put the brown person, like the drunk, the dirty person,
Yeah.
and even on the novelas, the soap operas,
Yeah.
Spanish novelas. That's all you see. You see the white's always the good person, the rich people, the so-called civilized people, and then the darker ones are always the savages, the dirty ones, the beggars, the ones who lust over the white people.
Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I have noticed that when like I've started watching, being aware of the Mexica movement, because like I don't speak Spanish and none of my family members did, so like, and then I paid attention to the novelas. Like, oh, okay, I noticed that. Like, you guys made me aware of that a little bit. That is true. That goes in our community, but it's not promoted that way. That stuff happens because like what this American system did was like when someone's half black and half white. I've seen that. I learned that from you, and it's true. They get to automatically identify with being black, but for us, it's like, nah, you guys have to be like a part of a tribe or 75% so-called in genetics to qualify you as a Native American, if you want to put it whatever. And it's just reverse of manipulation, and people are not aware of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, our DNA is like mostly indigenous,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, and yeah, so you brought up a good point about Spanish. Spanish is not our language.
yeah.
English are not our language. Now it's still spoken, and over 1 million people speak it. So we gotta get back to that. We gotta get back to our languages, and there's many languages that are still, I mean, they're still recorded that are extinct. But
Yeah,
luckily, some of these languages got recorded, so some of these languages can be reclaimed.
yeah.
But we want Nahuatl to be like the language of commerce because that's Nahuatl was the language of commerce when the
Okay.
Spanish came. So we want to rebuild the Nahuatl language, all the indigenous languages. But that's something for the future. And again, people try to say that this is about hate. No, this is not about hate. This is about loving our people
Yeah,
and fighting white supremacy. We
yeah.
know we're all one human race,
Mm,
but there's different cultures, different identities, different ethnicities,
Yeah.
but we're the ones are oppressed in our own land.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I seen somebody do that too. Like this Puerto Rican guy, he made a video. He was like, we're the human species, and race is the category of breed. So we're all the human species, but we are our own race of people, our own. That's what I've just learned too. People get mixed up that we're supposed to be saying human species and not race is the broken down category. You know, like you got a lion and a tiger. We know they're both part of the cat kingdom, but we're still gonna identify like that's a tiger and that's a lion. And you know, that's what people, you know, need to see with us too. Like we get like, yeah, we are the human species, but we know we need our culture and our identity, you know, taught the right way. And I respect that about you guys, that, you know, making people aware. And you know, like you, I give it up to you because you're like in these guys' faces when you're out there on the camera, like recording, like you're following these guys, chasing them down. Because when I met you here in Sacramento, I was nervous to be in the crowd. I didn't know what was gonna happen, if people were gonna start shooting or what. I give it up to you though now, because you're in these guys' faces, chasing them down, asking them questions. What makes you? And I know you've like you said, you've been hit. You had your camera taken away from you. What makes you just follow these guys without like a little bit like, I don't know, you probably are nervous, but what makes you still drive in these guys' faces like that?
Because I just think that people should know what they're thinking. You know, you gotta
Yeah.
like get into the face and ask them what they really think. You know, 2 days ago I recorded this fella Harim, and he acknowledged his mom was from Mexico,
Yeah.
but asked him what part of Mexico. He couldn't answer the question, and he said he's Spanish.
Mhm.
He said he's Jewish, but when it comes to his like indigenous identity, he won't
Yeah.
talk about that. He won't talk about where his mom's from. And I told him, we don't want to from Jalisco. I'm part of that. What about yours?
Yeah.
Because I'm an American. I'm an American. That's all he does is hide behind the flag, hide behind his racism. And he's like a puppet. He's like the white supremacist puppies. They'll say, we're not racist. We got Harim here.
Yeah.
You know, he's brown. How can we be racist? Even though they're fighting against our interests. They're fighting
Yeah.
some people, because his interests, what he represents, represents white supremacy.
Yeah.
You don't have to be white to be a white supremacist. You can be a black, you can be a Mexican white supremacist, because you're looking out for their interests. You're for the genocide of our people, the indigenous people.
Mhm.
So there's white people that are anti-white supremacy that are for indigenous rights.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways, and the reason I'm not scared is because I don't know, probably because I've been doing it for 10 years, and who knows, one of these days something might happen to me. But I just live for the day, and I just want to get the word out there. I want people to wake up, and if you're curious of where want to see my videos, go to YouTube and put Naui, Naui versus Minuteman or versus Nazis.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You'll see my videos.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, if to anybody watching this, I mean, all these a lot of these Mexicans that look up, that watch YouTube, they should know who you are. I mean, my little 300 subscribers, they should know who you are. And if they don't, go into my subscription, because I'm subscribed to you, and look at Naui and his channel. And I just seen that video that you did with that Jewish. He didn't want to say he was Mexican.
Supposedly Jewish. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, so-called. Yeah.
A lot of Mexicans deny who they are. They say
Yeah.
they're German, they're Spanish, European, but they always deny the indigenous. So
Yeah.
I don't believe this guy is.
Yeah. If he don't want to be Mexican, then we don't need him. Get out of here, then. You know,
Exactly.
go with them. but I mean, you know, what do you want to see change between, like, I'm gonna break it down in the Mexican and so-called Mexican American community? What would you like to see change amongst the two, you know, cultural wise and community wise?
We need to educate ourselves. Like, one of the things that we need to build, empower ourselves, because we don't have no leaders. We don't have nobody. Right now you can say, oh, this guy represents our people. There isn't, because the reason for that is because we don't know who we are. Once we know who we are from our history, then we start building leaders.
Yeah.
You know, it's like our people look up to comedians as leaders. You
Yeah.
know, people see George Lopez as a leader.
Yeah.
Not a leader. He's just a comedian.
Yeah.
And we need to build leadership. But first, we have to know who we are, and we're trying to like we're trying to decolonize. So not thinking there's borders. We're gonna let these borders divide us. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's why we're promoting Nicatlaca, or another word for indigenous, be the people here that divides those borders. Like you can be Lakota and say Nicatlaca. I mean, or you can say Nicatlaca and Lakota, or you can say Nicatlaca and Inca.
Yeah.
Whatever languages promote indigenous culture.
Yeah.
So we don't have to separate. Oh, I'm Mexican, or you're Chicano, or I'm
Yeah.
Mexican American. We need to see each other as one. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
indigenous people, there's the indigenous people with different cultures in our continent. We have to respect all it. We have to respect ourselves, indigenous cultures throughout our continent. But in order for that, is we have to know our history. We have to know our identity. We have to know about our civilizations. So let's say when you're from Sacramento, if you go to Arizona, you meet an Apache. He sees you like another indigenous brother. It's like he knows he's Apache. You know you're of Mexican descent,
Yeah.
and but you guys know you guys are the same people, divided by European borders.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I'm down. The thing is I don't. When I was aware of from watching you guys that you guys don't support the La Raza label, and I actually support that. And can you give just a little bit to these people on why you guys don't support the La Raza label?
Okay, well, when I once talked to some guy from Colombia, he said when that he asked me, how come you guys say Viva la Raza? And I said, well, I didn't really know how to explain to him, but he said this was before the Meta Mexica movement. That
Yeah.
in Colombia, they say they use the word raza when they're talking about animals.
Yeah.
So I started to question that, but with us, like the term raza became popular in the '60s.
Yeah.
In the '60s, like the word raza was like a radical word to use.
Okay.
But the word raza, like the way it got popular, it started with this so-called intellectual from Mexico, James Ponce, I think Vasconcelos, and he said that he was basically a racist criollo, a Spanish born in Mexico, that we're part of this cosmic race. That it's a beautiful blend of Spanish, Black, and Indigenous.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're the new race.
Yeah.
And basically, the problem with that is that we reject that because it was not a mixture; it was a rape. Our ancestors got raped, and the Africans were brought forcibly from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So he talks about how beautiful this is, but he neglects or he denies the genocide. He doesn't talk about the genocide.
Okay.
So our people before 1492, we did not call ourselves raza.
Yeah.
But I can understand why people use the word raza because of the '60s, the Chicano movement.
Yeah.
But the more we get educated, is the more like, oh, okay, well, it's like, well, why not use Mexica? And then from Mexica we come Nicatlaca. But like, when I say I'm Mexicano, I'm not saying I'm part of the Mexican government.
Yeah.
When I say Mexicano, I'm saying Mexica in Spanish. When I say I'm Mexican, I'm saying Mexica in English. Even though there's probably I have no Mexica blood, but that was one of our great civilizations.
Yeah. Okay.
And the word Chicano comes from the word Mexica. So
Yeah.
so that's why from Mexica comes Nicatlaca, because many people, well, I'm not Mexica. Okay, well, let's say Nicatlaca then, because it's the same, we're indigenous.
Yeah.
And some people have a problem with it because it's not what. But we just say, well, say it in your language.
Yeah.
There's a word for indigenous, say it in your language.
Exactly.
So back to the word raza. So that's the reason we reject the word raza. I know it's kind of hard because we've been brought to say, oh, we will la raza, word raza, and I mean it's I think it's little by little. Like once people get the information out, they'll say, okay, well, maybe raza is not the correct term because like many people don't use that term. Like many people like the natives from here don't use that word raza.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of hard, but little by little, people will get why we say not raza.
Okay. what is it, if we could get to on, well, at a little bit at the end, a little bit of information on how you're at the latest protest of what happened to that young Mexican kid on being on the yard and, you know, grabbed up by the cop, because that's right in your backyard. Those are the protests that you're at. So can you just tell me a little bit about that, on what's going on about that?
Okay, this happened like 10 minutes from my house.
Wow.
This happened in Anaheim, that's Orange County.
Okay.
And this kid was walking home from school. Sometimes they walk in a group. So
Yeah.
kids are going to walk, and sometimes they're going to step on lawn. I remember walking to school as a group, and kids step on lawn. If you're so concerned about somebody stepping on your grass, put a fence around it.
Yeah.
And so according to what Kevin, the police officer, said, Kevin Ferguson, he said that he's tired of people stepping on his lawn. So the story goes, according to the 13-year-old boy, Christian, that the officer told his friend, a female friend walking from school, stop stepping on my lawn, cunt. And I don't know what Christian said back to him, but the officer came out and started, harassing him, and then he started to detain him. The kids didn't know he was a police officer.
Yeah.
How are they supposed to? They know how are they supposed to know he's a police officer when he's wearing like civilian clothes, and he doesn't show his badge. And even if he was a cop, that doesn't give the cop the right to detain him for no reason, So the kid was trying to get away. I don't blame him, because it's like, who's this guy like detaining him? He's 13 years old. Like the cop was detaining him, and his friend, what the hell are you doing? They were trying to save his friend. His friends were trying to get the 13-year-old, so he got pushed. And then after he got pushed, the police officer took out his gun, and he shot one time. And it's like, that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen if it was white.
Yeah. Has any of those parents shown support to what you guys are doing out there and speaking up for him?
Well, Christian's mom showed up to one of the protests. This happened the following day of the protest. Hundreds of people came out. Like, we organized a protest like in less than 2 hours or 3 hours. Like, we got all these people to come. We got the word out. His mom came to speak out. And we're mad at the Anaheim Police Department because the kids got arrested. 2 of the kids got arrested, including Christian. But the police officer is free right now.
Wow.
Even though he shot around where there was kids walking from school, he is free.
Wow. I've seen the video on that. That was pretty interesting. But other than that, like, I appreciate you giving me your time out. And you're on Facebook also. It's right under Naui Osolel. Or tell the people on some information where they could reach you.
Well, yeah, just go to YouTube, NAIOCELOTL. That's my YouTube channel. Or send you a message, and you can give him a link to my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And that's how you can get a hold of me. And if they want more information about learning history, go to mexicamovement.org. Mexicamovement.org. It's Mexican without the N. Mexicamovement.org.
Okay. And what would be some of your last thoughts or anything that you would like to tell people out there?
Just to, educate yourself, educate your children, and, learn about your indigenous history, and don't be scared to confront white supremacy, because if you don't, we'll come back to haunt you.
Okay. Well, and one more thing I gotta ask. That was pretty funny, though. You got a call from Sacramento PD also about that protest last summer. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny, man. When they called me, I was like, are you used to getting those calls, or was that the first time?
Regarding that was only my first time, and whatever information they want from me, it's out on video.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think none of the Nazis have been arrested. I mean, there's been one arrest, one of the Nazis that stabbed like 2 or 3 black people. He's in jail because he's in jail for domestic violence. He already had a felony. He was already on parole,
Okay.
and this guy should have been arrested in the spot.
Yeah, yeah,
But these guys are crazy. But I don't know if the Sacramento police
yeah,
or the CHP, they want to arrest the protesters,
yeah,
the anti-Nazis,
yeah,
because those Nazis are still out free.
yeah. Wow. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I was surprised. Like, I was surprised still. I don't even think it was CHP. I'm like, why would CHP call? That had to be like some investigator or something though. Cause he said CHP Officer Snyder. That reminded me of the movie Officer Snyder from the CHP, the State Trooper movie. I was like,
Yeah.
well, overall, Naui, I appreciate the conversation, and hopefully, maybe in months' time, we could talk again on some information. And I'll keep in touch with you on Facebook and all that. So other than that, peace
Okay,
out,
thank you.
then, and
Peace out.
have a good one.
You too. Thanks.
Thanks, son.